Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Anime League Podcast, your ultimate hub for all things anime and beyond in all media in or across all the cosmos. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you're a returning listener, we're thrilled to have you on board for another exciting dive into the world of animation and pop culture conversation. This is episode 166 of the Anime League Podcast. Brace yourself for character debate, sad conversation, and a dash of chaos. And the theme of this month is love, representing the love season that's on air. For this episode is the signs of love in anime and media. Dive into media that explores the unique angles such as love through AI, artificial intelligence, forbidden romances, or the science fiction and fantasy love stories. So without further ado, engage with us, share this episode, bring your friends, bring your umbrellas, bring your primos, and let's make this day unforgettable, all powered by AniMa W3 Studio. Catch a new episode every Thursday on YouTube or your audio feed wherever you listen to. So without further ado, let's go and meet the team. Like you heard my beautiful voice starting off the show, I am your boy, Love and Peace, Legendary Vibes. Be curious, I need more Ted Lasso in my life, and One Piece is about to take control of my life, because for those that are reading the manga, you guys know what the fuck has been going on in this damn fucking timeline. Everywhere else, you're talking about this damn double spread. IG, stop listening to me. And a rise to the listeners and salute, because we are about to see the most beautiful episode, because you guys are catching this episode on Thursday. In 2 days from now, on Saturday, you're about to also get a reaction from myself, most likely Crash, maybe our friend Memory NK, because we're about to see the rise of our boy Tusk.
Oh shit! The Tusk episode is coming out.
Oh yeah, this weekend on Saturday. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, I might have to catch up. I might have to catch up.
Are we gonna get walkers? Are we gonna get walkers on a reaction this Saturday? We about to see, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But hey, how's it going, everybody? It's your world champion Watkins here. And look, I just have a simple question, maybe two questions. Just what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Baby, don't hurt me. No more. Damn bitch.
And our Hispanic assassin is here.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning, evening, whatever time it is over there. It's your boy Crash, letting you all know that don't be like me, hitting up Siri, asking them the right questions when it comes to our, very lovely month of the time. Where to find your very horny milfs in your area? Because believe me, Siri don't know either. Siri don't know either.
Yes, it seems like Siri don't know about that. But without further ado, let's get straight to the show, because if we have any return listeners, you guys know we get into our show. We get to the right nitty and gritty. But the first thing we usually get into is the Weebs Lounge. But guess what? We are skipping it for this week because we want to hit our theme. We want to hit to Otaku news. Because last week, if anybody didn't check out last week's episode, because it seemed like nobody did, we only have 5 views currently on this recording. What the hell? YouTube algorithm. It's a blasphemy. Agree. I'm flabbergasted. But if you guys haven't, we spoke about the 2025 movies are coming out. This week, we were going to talk about TV, gaming, and some anime-related content. However, you know what? We could always talk about that sometime this year when it comes to Otaku news. And if you guys are watching the Off the Binge with myself and Crash, and we have our newest co-host, Neko-chan, that she's such a chill girl, and we're doing it weekly, talking about weekly anime coverage. So go check that out. It's a fun discussion with our special guests as well that we have the past 2 episodes, Memory NK. So go check those out. So with all the plugs out of the way, let's get into the Otaku big news and Buzz Central. Like I said, say Weebs Lounge not happening. We're here for the taco news, and that is the pulse of our Anime Lily podcast. Get ready to dive into the latest buzz and the hottest news and our spread opinions on everything entertainment. So for the first thing of the gaming news, let's talk about it. Multiverse is shutting down after season 5. They said, look, guys, you could lock it in, and we're not going to put no more money in this game that could have been a hit fire like Smash Bros., but it was a letdown. Truly sad.
Yeah, very much a letdown. Especially when you force your players to, pay to win, or pay to basically. Okay, here's the thing. It's one thing for Smash Brothers to have like their season passes and all that stuff, or like, oh, you can buy your character and all that stuff, because fine, whatever, economy, whatever, bullshit. Okay, fine. It's one thing to be like, oh yeah, no, you can unlock your characters. Okay, well, how do I unlock them? Well, you have to grind for them. Oh, okay, great. Well, how long's the grind? You need to grind for about 8 hours a day for about 3 or 4 weeks to maybe, possibly get the one character you want, and you better hope you do it in time, because then if you don't, they're gonna be gone. Oh, well, can I at least get good at the game? Yeah, you can get good, but you can't get better if you pay us. Like, it's just a scummy tactic to just pay to win and all that stuff.
It sucks when you also have Smash Bros. Where if you play, I think 5 matches, and then you get out of the recent match, and then you get a random new full opponent appeared, and you got it for free. That's like, out of the DLC package, I believe you have like 20 or you get 15 that you get to buy. But other than that, you get 65 or less than 70 characters, actually including Smash Bros, that you gotta work for it for free. All you gotta do is play the actual fucking game. And for a free online game like Multiverse, it's very disappointing, because we had a game that could have been good, and it was good for a short time, was Injustice. The different versions of the DC characters, in the way that we could see them in different versions, or skins as well, the kids say nowadays. But when in Multiverse, we have Bugs Bunny and other characters of the Warner Brothers family interact with other Warner Brothers related as DC. I believe we have not Freddy Krueger. I believe we have Jason as one of the characters as well.
Yeah, Jason was one of them, and of course, your other WB characters like Bugs Bunny, Harley Quinn. I think they just put Morty in the game.
Yeah, they did. They have Superman, Batman. They have all these potential characters, but it felt like they had such great ideas, but no potential actually grew out of it. So very sad. But Crash, any thoughts about this? Have you played the game even?
Gentlemen, may I remind you, Shaggy, the OG, one of the most godliest characters on the planet, just needs to put 2%, 0.2% of power, and we could potentially get a season 6. That's all I'm going to say. If he chose to, he could make it happen. Will we? Time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. But remember, never leave out the OGs out there, and that's my boy Shaggy. But no, game was dog shit. LeBron couldn't even carry this game. Shame on him. I'm glad this shit's going down. Smash Bros all the way.
Yep. And also, just maybe a counterpoint for you for the Shaggy thing. Perhaps Shaggy's a little too powerful for multiverses. Perhaps he's just a little too powerful. Maybe that's why Multiverse is actually going down. It's because they can't handle Shaggy. They can't handle the Mastered Ultra Instinct God Super Saiyan Shaggy version. Like, they just can't handle that kind of power.
You know what? You're absolutely right. And for that, Shaggy, we can't say damn you or thank you. All we can do is say gasp.
One thing I did enjoy about that is the memes. The memes that came out with from Shaggy, like,
shit was hilarious.
If everyone don't know, Shaggy has always been like, he has the 1%, 2%, or also I believe when Goku reached the tournament power, it was Ultra
There was
Instinct.
a skip for that. Yeah, yeah, there's a
Yeah,
skip for that with Ultra Instinct.
the boy Shaggy had Ultra Instinct first, and it was the memes. Like those things were always enjoyable in that sense as well. So
Are you challenging me? Yes, sir. We are challenging you.
Sir.
yes, we are challenging you the greatness of he is. But I did want to speak about one other gaming news that I didn't have a document,
Yeah.
but I did want to search about it because Walker's brought it behind, quick behind the scenes about it. Destiny 2. Uh, Destiny 2 new episode Hersey, the best builds for Hunter Warlock and the other things that came out in the most recent update of Destiny. And I really want to say, how the fuck does this game still existing in popularity after 8-10 years, but still consider Destiny 2, but it just has new seasons, and that's insane. Like I know I spoke about it behind the scenes, but like crazy that I did. Like I was curious to get into this world of Destiny. It looks really fascinating. It looks the lore's fucking humongous, but I did a search, and once I like I dove into the rabbit hole, right? But once I dove in a bit, like maybe a couple feet, I took a couple steps down the rabbit hole. I went to level 2. After I got to level 2 down the rabbit hole, I went back up. I'm like, I'm good. You know why? Because once I saw a YouTube video saying 8 hours of a lore just about a certain like of a person like a warlock, just knowing the best type of build, the best type of weapons, the best type of things, the lore of this, I'm like, that's too much for me. 8 hours only for one certain rank or skin or character, like that's too much. I don't have the time, energy when I have time for anime, podcast, doing this. Like I don't got this layer of fandom to add on top of more of the fandoms I'm part of. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I love it, respect it. But Crash, I want to pass it to you. What is it that you have your hand raised for? And are you a Destiny 2 fanatic that I was never aware about?
Shout out to my best friend Lyndon. You're my OG, bro. You're my ride or die. He is the one reason that that game will still exist. Also, shout out to my also best friend Jose. You guys are the reason why Bungie keeps making money off of y'all. Because you guys keep fucking playing the game. Let that shit die. It belongs in the grave. He's already dead. Come on, leave it alone. But I see the appeal. I have played the original Destiny when it came out, and Walking to brought it to my attention, and Bash 2, and I haven't even realized how old this game is. Destiny 2 came out in 2016. The first Destiny released while President Obama was in office for his first term. So you can imagine I was a young lad back in the day. I really didn't even realize how much time has passed by. So, playing the game, the first original game, I don't know if I've ever beaten it, but I put a couple hours into it. I had put money into it. I don't know if I bought weapons or it wasn't loot boxes, but correct me if anybody remembers. It was just like those weapon attachments or whatever you got to get the different skins and shit like that. So it wasn't that it was boring at all. It wasn't my kind of story that I was into. It was like for a big example, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I see why people like Halo. Halo is an amazing game. It will always be one of the most iconic games of all time. Shout out to Master Chief. But those kind of stories like that are not like my interest whatsoever. I will never shit on those kind of games. But just like kind of with Destiny, like kind of space and stuff like that. Even with the latest game with Bethesda, I forgot the name of it, Star or something. Games like that don't really pique me.
I think I know what you're talking about. Which one?
Yeah. It's not my cup of tea, but I have played it. It's good. But I don't, even with the second game when it came out, hard pass. And then Bungie really dropped the ball with its fucking with its company, how they treated its employees, the DLCs leading up to where it is now. It's a shame because that game had a lot of potential to be what it wants to be. But hey, at least we got a Star Wars collab coming out. I know Watkins, you're really interested in maybe potentially getting back to that.
I don't know if I am though, because again, I don't know if I want to dive back into Destiny 2 or not. Like, because like that's the thing. So like, I think my biggest issue with Destiny, especially Destiny 2, is so they had many different ways that you could play multiplayer online. So it could be either PvP, PV. I don't think they had PvE at the time, but like you could do like raids or anything with people and all that. But see, that's the thing. It's like they had like these playlists where like what were they called? I think they were called like strikes or whatever. You could join a strike and it'd just be like it could be you with friends or you with just like random people or whatever. Like cool, neat, awesome. You can just throw me into like a server or whatever with like 5 other people. We could be on voice chat, or we could just do it silently, because you don't really have to strategize. You could just kind of go in and shoot anybody in a strike and be fine with your day and all that. The Then you get the raids, and you had to have a team party. You had to have like a party of at least 6. And that's where like you start kind of losing somebody like me, because like I didn't really have a lot of people that played Destiny or like Destiny 2 in the day, because I wasn't really online that much. I mean, I was in college at the time, so it's more like, hey, you have an Xbox, right? Oh, you have a PlayStation, right? Let's play Destiny. Cool, neat, awesome. We got the little app that we could look at our little avatars on and make sure all of our lights are like at this level and all that stuff. But like that's where it kind of lost me, where I'm just like, okay, I have to like reach out, I have to like find these Reddit posts that have like these guilds, because like they started making like guilds a thing, like you
Yes.
can have like different groups and all that, and
Yeah.
like that's how you can get your group together and like go on these raids and all that. And like I think I did one raid and it was fine, but like that's when they start adding like more to the raids, or like more of what you need to do. Like, oh, you don't just have to beat this boss or whatever. No, you have to like carry this one thing over here, and like, oh, you have to break this wall down, but there's a time limit to it and all that. It's just like, okay, I get that. And like the other thing too with it is like the loot drops for it. You have to do these raids multiple times in order to get exactly what you need. And it's just like, I don't have that kind of time, because some of those would take like a couple hours to finish, even
Yeah.
with like a full team. So it's like, I just don't have the time to really fully commit to this, even though like, I mean, I had fun. I mean, it was basically online Halo to a point.
That's what it was.
Which,
I saw
mean,
it.
Yeah,
yeah,
That's how I saw it back then in the day. So I do agree on that.
yeah.
for sure.
So, I mean, cool that they're getting a Star Wars collab. I mean, at least it's like the Star Wars things I care about. Like I think it's your tank. Like if you have a tank character, look like you could do like the Stormtrooper,
Makes sense.
and then I think the Hunter character had like the Darker Trooper, and then the Warlock, which that was my main, was the Warlock. Titan. That's the name of the tank. Anyways, that was like the red trooper thing, whatever that guard thing was. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm not gonna dive back into it, even though it is free to play, and you just have to buy different packs or whatever it is. Like, because that's the other thing too, is like you had to buy each DLC, and it got to the point where like each DLC was the equivalent of buying a new game.
Yeah, I believe each
So
DLC
it's just
was
like,
like almost $30 to $50.
50, yeah, almost 50
Mhm.
bucks.
And it's just like, dude, why are you gonna do this? And like, I remember when Destiny 2 dropped, they're like, yeah, they did the obvious thing of like, oh yeah, you could buy the season pass, but it only gets you the first 2. And mind you, the first 2 were way back like 10 years ago. And it's just like, oh,
Then what's the point?
yeah,
There's
what's the
nothing
point
for me
when-
now that we're like 10 years into the
Yeah.
future. Like,
Yeah, you have all these different bonus packs. There's I don't know how many seasons they've had now that it's free to play and all that. So it's like,
I believe they're on season 12
do
or
I even
15.
try? That's bonkers. That's just crazy. And then, yeah, all the stuff with Bungie. I mean, that's
That's a whole
Yeah.
different side conversation. But hey, you know what? We could have a side conversation of a blast to the past. We have the Weeb news here, and one of the first thing is Fantastic Four teaser trailer. Yes, chat. We decided to record on Tuesday. You know why? Because the new teaser trailer for Fantastic Four came out. Because the teaser of the teaser trailer came out Monday. So I told the team, hey, let's record it a bit on hold for us to have this quick discussion. And I want to pass it to Crash first. Start off with a hot take,
Yeah.
because you said that you was not happy about the trailer. So I want
Oh,
to try to hear
fuck,
about
man.
the negative first, real quick. Talk to us. What
Alright.
was it that you didn't like about this? Because my only question was, why did Galactus look so small? That's what it looked from the shadow. That's my only question.
all right. So
Galactus's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
let me just start off by first saying,
It's not my
this-
revivals yet, but hey.
Hey, let me first start by saying that teaser trailer was one of the more weaker trailers that Marvel has put out in recent years, and that's me being honest and generous.
Okay.
Looking outside of this trailer. When I first heard about the Fantastic Four, first steps, the big thing that threw me off was the actors and actresses portraying these characters. Mainly Pedro Pascal playing Mr. Fantastic. Now, I love Pedro Pascal. I have nothing against him. He is a great actor. He has played great roles in the past. Nothing with him. But there is nothing that could have told me, past to be like, hey, do you think he could play Mr. Fantastic? Nothing at fucking all. But I gave it a benefit of the doubt. I said, let Marvel cook. Maybe they have an idea of something that I'm not seeing, because they are big visionaries for sure. And lately they have been, slacking on some of the movies. So I would hope with this new Fantastic Four movie that they would cook something, a nice gourmet meal, you could say. And watching this trailer, all I fucking got was an appetizer, a fucking egg roll that wasn't even cooked. It's just cold as fuck. That's what the fuck I got from this movie.
That's a spicy hot take when it comes to, because look, I will say the one thing I don't remember was Herbie. Herbie, I'm aware that he's been in the comics before, or he's a new addition from what I could last recall. That's the thing. Looks fine to me. Is he clunky? Guys, there's a big secret. He's made of fucking rocks. How's he not supposed to be clunky? Like,
he looks fine to me. I don't see what the people were talking about.
Like, to me, that's fine.
Okay.
He looks great. He's not like the Hulk, where he's literally still human, just infused with gamma rays and then became something because of that accident. And then you're just 6-8 times of that person, and you're still able to move like a human being. The thing, he literally got his skin turned into rocks. That's what it became. One thing I would also like to give a shout out is to the comment section under Marvel Studios. It looks very positive. A lot of people was like, we have family dinner Sunday at 7 on the dot, no matter what. Galactus is taking notes. Invade at 7 p.m. on Sunday. Noted. So it's pretty cute shit.
Good.
Many times we talk about actors who were born to play a character, but can we start talking about composers who were born to play their score? I do agree about this. Michael Giacchino with the Fantastic Four trailer, the teaser of the score felt really good. It felt very Fantastic Four vibe in a way for me, like it felt from the 70s and 80s. I love how this comment said Pedro saw what happened to the last Mr. Fantastic, who showed up his powers too early and decided to sit this one out because he didn't honestly show us his stretch ability. The only ones we saw was the Human Torch, which I wish he said flame on. He better fucking say that shit at least one time, because I really appreciate hearing that from Chris Evans from the original films, and in the comics he said it a few times throughout his history in the comics, so it's not always been his catchphrase, but I would love that to be his catchphrase. It's very on the nose. Sue Storm, her power looks fine. She's invincible, so it's just literally like a lot of green screen and trying to play with the right type of angle. So that to me doesn't take anything away from it. And one of the comments that was very funny was, as a family, and Dominic Toretto, I like the sound of that. He will be happy. So like
for sure.
those little comments, it shows that the audience, it seems like they like what it was. The Fantastic Four old costume, like the blue and white. At first, the first time watching it, I was a bit thrown off because it's Jack Kirby old style from the comics and what he drew and the type of outfit, wardrobe was. But watching it from the second and third time right now that we're talking about it, it really is growing on me. Like the thing actually looking like Jack Kirby's original art style from back in the day, and the way he tried to give the robot like, hey, a good stuff, like, hey, the sauce was good, I'm just add an extra couple things, just to make it more palatable for me. So that comedy was funny to me. How about you guys? Watkins, talk to me. You told us off air that you was in the middle. Not that we're talking a bit more about it. Have you leaned towards a way?
I mean, I'm still just cautiously optimistic because that's just me with MCU anymore, especially after Endgame. I think one thought I just had, like just as we've been talking about all this, and I put the teaser trailer back on right now.
Oh, same.
Part of me kind of hopes they lean in on some of the campiness that this looks like, because then I would probably enjoy it just a little bit more. Because that's the thing. Like the thing, he kind of looks a little derpy, but that's fine. Because again, like we're basing it off of like an older design, so
Agreed.
cool, neat, fine, whatever. I'm curious as to why we haven't seen Mr. Fantastic's powers, but because I think I saw a comment earlier too about maybe they're gonna do like some sort of crystal power thing. So like that made me think of like Miss Marvel.
I hope not. I
Like if
hope
they're gonna
it's.
do something like that.
I hope it's just like like
Mhm.
Monkey D. Luffy in the live action, or hope it's something like like Marvel Rivals. Like, hey, they at least have the idea in
Yeah.
the game. Can we get that adapted? And also, my guess that they haven't shown it to us yet because they're still probably working on the visual effects just to get it
Probably.
finalized. So not to stress about that, but
Yeah.
the one thing that made me laugh in the comment section, and also I didn't notice in the first watch, Pedro Pascal must have a contract that he cannot shave his mustache. No matter what role this man got, he
Oh,
would
no, he's
not.
not allowed.
He would not shave his mustache. It's like I'm not seeing this man not have a mustache, even in the flashback or anything in the current present time. They didn't even show us a glimpse of Victor Von Doom either, because we
No.
know that Victor Von Doom goes up with the, because that's how he becomes Doom. For anybody that
Mhm.
doesn't know the storyline or have seen the previous films and their failures. So I can't really to see the dynamic between Sue Storm and Johnny. There are brother and sisters, so I'm really curious to see how that goes. And Johnny going to space and it looks like he could breathe into space, which I'm a bit confused about that, because last time from what I know in the comics, Johnny cannot really breathe with his powers like that, and his powers wasn't even on. Like, he was in space with no flame. So I was really curious about that. Are they gonna change up his powers a bit, or have him be able to breathe in space? I don't know. So that's a pretty
Yeah.
interesting take.
One thing too, because I saw this comment as well. So it's that one scene that they show where Johnny's like going through the city a little bit, almost like he's chasing somebody. I saw somebody online say, "Oh, what if he's chasing the Silver Surfer, but they didn't put him into the teaser trailer?"
That
So, like,
could
That's
be
a-
it. That makes
that's a
sense, because
reach.
if we have Galactus, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have the Silver Surfer. That is, you're right. Because look, and I think in the time code, yeah, because it changes something. The thing is running in the 122nd mark. We see somebody old as hell in the 119 mark, I believe.
Wait, isn't the
Mhm.
Silver Surfer confirmed to be in First Steps? Actually, it's supposed to be a girl, I think,
Is
playing
he?
an actress. Let me look it up. I might be wrong.
Okay.
I think I might have seen that. It could be a rumor, but I think you guys are onto something with Silver Surfer.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see Galactus over there in New York City, and he looks small. So I'm really curious to see if he just went down the side to be on the size of Earth. Because for those that don't know in the comics, Galactus is a motherfucker. Is the bigger size of the planet Earth.
Oh, it's official. Marvel has confirmed that Julia Gardner will play the Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four First Steps, arriving in theaters
There
on
we
July
go.
5th. My boy's cooking right now. They might have taken it out. It's like with Spider-Man No Way Home, where like you're seeing, they're fighting somebody, you know
And
who
then
it
somebody
is.
punch him, invincible.
Lizard got
Exactly.
punched. He's like,
Oh.
And I just love Andrew Garfield. Like, that ain't me. And like 6 months later, yeah, that was me. I just had to lie.
What we have to remember here too, and it does say it here, Gardner will play Shala Bal, the female version of the Silver Surfer.
That's been in the
So,
comics
yeah.
before, so that's nothing
Yeah.
too crazy.
yeah.
What I would say, going past my negative aspect onto what I've seen in the trailer alone, what we need to remember that this is not the same Fantastic Four that we had seen the last 2 movies. This is a whole
Right.
brand new kind of reboot, brand new kind of set with a whole new brand new actors and actresses, story, scene. I feel like for the new generation who hadn't had a chance to see the original OG, Fantastic Four with Chris Evans, with Jessica Alba, shout out to her, with the other 2, people. This new generation is still learning about like what the Fantastic Four is, and we know what they were back in the day with the comics. So like,
Yeah.
the thing with this, right, and it's really, really hard for me to say this like realistically, but Marvel has to compete making this really good, because we have another movie coming up before Fantastic Four. We have Captain America, and already a lot of people are on the fence with this, with this movie. And what I was saying before to you guys, before in the podcast, if Captain America flops, Fantastic Four has to hit because his competition is the new Superman, which, as Vash said previously, will slap. James Gunn is also cooking. So Marvel right now is in a very, very tight predicament, very cautious position where this may be the year where Marvel might have trash movies. I'm not saying just based on what I've seen with the trailers that these two movies are going to flop. That's not what I'm saying. My point to this is Marvel has to cook for what's going to happen in the next year and the year after with Secret Wars and with the other Avengers movie, because I am fucking looking forward to it. And if these movies coming up are not going to bring me heat, believe me, I'm going to be very disappointed, and I might gasp, switch over to the dark side, and start living my life in DC, because at least the Batman Part 2 and fucking Superman cooking over there, but not with Marvel. And that is fact.
Dun, 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 dun.
Look, chat. I'm not gonna be like Crash and stress myself out what's happening next with the MCU and Marvel. Marvel not going nowhere. I'm enjoying what we got. They might even bring Kang, but we're not gonna talk about this news. It's been rumor reports, so it's nothing official. It's nothing official yet, so that's nothing for us to really harp on.
Oh my god, don't do this to me, please.
All I'm saying is that for the Fantastic Four, what I'm really am curious to see is what are they gonna retcon already that's been established in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because this is placed in their early 70s and 80s, I believe, maybe early 60s at most. The only earliest movie that we had two projects, which Agent Carter, which that is part of the universe but has not been established to be connected right now currently, and the other project was Captain Marvel. Other than that, Nick Fury was the longest person to be knowing about all this. So if Nick Fury hasn't known about this Fantastic Four, what happened for everyone to forget about the first family in this universe? So that's why I'm curious to see where are we going to lead up to this, because all we know is that they probably disappear to a vortex by the end of the film of the Fantastic Four. That's what a lot of people theorize is like they had the film and then they disappear by the end, and then they're going to return probably in Secret Wars. That's a big theory.
Well, like that's the thing. It's like we've not had almost any mention of the Fantastic Four in most of the MCUs, and it's really weird how it's like we're having this movie come out, and it looks like they're like these big stars. There's a freaking building that they have
cars and everything.
Like, how is this? Yeah, how has this never been referenced within the MCU? So it's like, how are we gonna mix it in here? Because, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think it's been mentioned in any promotional stuff that this is like another universe or another timeline.
Wait, now hold on to that. I actually was gonna say, based off the trailer, what I'm assuming happened was what we're seeing there is not our universe. And them going into space, going into vortex. I don't think that's what happened. I think that's a whole other universe. They, something happens in space, and then they get transported to potentially the 70s and 80s in our time. And that's what we see currently happen. And that's where everything gets messed up and et cetera, et cetera. And then who knows what happens from there. I think that's what they're leading up to, because if what you're saying is what's going to happen in the movie, right? Then we should have had some kind of reference to the Fantastic Four. Mind you, we always have these fights with the rights for Sony and Marvel and blah blah blah. So of course you can't bring up certain names and certain characters in movies. You even heard in the trailer too. You even heard it in the trailer with the Captain America thing. Enhancement. They haven't even said mutants yet because we just got X-Men, so we're still on the enhancement characters. We haven't even got to mutants yet with that word. So the fact that they're slowly building up to that, I guess, it's like a work in progress, slowly getting up to that point. But who knows? I think it's too early to say anything. I guess the Marvel just teased a bit to see what's up. They were smart to do that thing with Watkins, what you said with Johnny Flames, excuse me. I'm not forgetting his name. Like, damn, Sue Storm. Johnny Storm. And him flying in there. We might have seen the Silver Surfer, but we don't really see her. Excuse me. I don't know. There's a lot to debunk from it, but we're still not giving a lot of information. So it's like, should we just wait and see what's up? Is it enough? Do I want to see more?
And we might get a post-credit scene on the movie of Captain America 4. We might get a post-credit scene because that's the next one they lead into it, Fantastic Four, and then the end of the year is the Thunderbolts. So we have possibility of a post-credit for Thunderbolts or Fantastic Four. And also the last thing I'll say that I love how Sue Storm mentioned about her brother. The one thing that was so comic accurate was Johnny is Johnny. Like that literally we're like people should know that that's like the perfect accuracy of comparing who he is. Johnny is Johnny. If you don't know, go read the comics or read some search on Google or go on YouTube. You'll find out Johnny is a hoe and he is an asshole, but he's a lovable one. That's literally his character. But
he's a lovable dick.
Does anybody have any last thoughts before we move on to the quick things to mention?
Mr. Fantastic looks mid as fuck. She shows the powers beforehand. Everybody else is cool. Even the robot. Mr. Fantastic, step it up.
Even the
or else
robot.
even the robot looks
The
fine.
robot's cool.
Mr.
Herpy. Wait, is it Herpy? Arby's?
I don't want to say his name because I don't
I
want to
hope
like.
it's not Herpy. I hope
Herbert.
it's not Herpy.
Herbert. Is it Herbert?
Herbert. Okay.
I'm a girl. I don't
Even
know.
worse. Hey there.
No. It is Herbie. Right here,
Herbie.
here in the CC on YouTube is Herbie. Herbie.
Even the fucking robot was doing better than Mr. Fantastic. Pedro Pascal, step it up, or the reviews ain't gonna look good for you, my boy. That's what I'm saying, and I like you.
Look, Pedro Pascal, when we come here in
July.
July. Yeah, I was about to say June. I was like
July 25th.
July 25th. When the movie comes out, we will either have a review that weekend or review the following week. So chat, don't worry. When the time comes, another trailer comes out. Not sure if I watched another trailer because look, chat, you already know. Vaz don't watch trailers or previews.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
He will only watch.
You might watch the next one, but not the last one.
Yeah,
You
never watch the last one. Never watch the last one
trailer
because they show more than they need to. We're already there. Y'all don't need to. But you know what we do need to talk about is two things. One is a rumor report, not fully confirmed from the company itself, Nickelodeon, is Jimmy Neutron maybe returning with a sequel at Nickelodeon Studios. Could it be a Paramount project? Could it be? Is anybody a Jimmy Neutron fan? I grew up with Jimmy Neutron, Timmy, who was that show? The Very Odd Parents.
The Jimmy Timmy Power Hour.
Yeah,
the Fairly Godparents.
Yes, thank you, Watkins. The Timmy Jimmy Power Hour where they had the crossover and everything. They had the animation crossover. For those that don't understand, to actually have an animation crossover is hard because that means either the studio needs to work with it or the animators need to work with one another, and that's not an easy project. So for that to happen that early in its time, that's amazing. Props to that. But if there is an actual Jimmy Neutron project, no lie, I'm here for it. It sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything like the Fairly Odd Parents one that came out, no, because that was actually had some good stuff in it. Like, I mean,
are you referring to the newest one, with the CGI one, not the Drake Bell movie, like the one after that?
No, God, no. Hell no.
I have not seen the Drake Bell one. I didn't even try it. Even though I did watch the previous ones of the live action. I watched the previous ones of the live action stuff, but the most recent one I haven't. The one that CGI that Walker's talking about, I've seen clips of it, but haven't really checked it out, honestly.
It's not too bad. I watched it. I watched one episode and then I watched a few clips here and there with a friend of mine, and yeah, it's not too bad. You know, it's way better than the last stuff that they did with Fairly Odd Parents with we have to share our godparents. Yeah, some of the stuff with Poof actually does show up in this show. And
isn't his name changed now?
Yeah, it did.
I think so. Yeah,
it did. Yeah.
But yeah, it's really not too bad. Plus, Cosmo in the new show, he's still kind of. It's like first season Cosmo, where it's just okay, yeah, he's kind of dumb, but he's charming and he's actually can actually hold a conversation and actually talk normal and not here's a quip every single time I talk. It's shut up, dude, you're not funny, you're just stupid. No, Cosmo's actually he's actually, dare I say, normal-ish.
Interesting.
So like, yeah. So it's like the show. I mean, it could be better, obviously, but it's like it's really not too bad for what it is, you know. And I mean, yeah, the animation takes a little bit to get used to, but you get used to it. But like moving on to like a Jimmy Neutron like reboot or sequel or whatever, I mean, it would be cool. Hopefully they're a little older.
Yes, please. Like honestly,
And
adults, maybe high school seniors.
maybe yeah, just kind of see what they're doing. I could see maybe like a high school setting with Jimmy Neutron, if I'm being honest, because like adults, then you'd have to be like, okay, well, Jimmy is basically going to be a freaking
Einstein.
nuclear, yeah, like Einstein, nuclear physicist or whatever.
He is
And it's like,
Dr. Zeno. If anybody understands the Dr. Stone reference.
like, all right, I'll let you have that one. He's looking to restore humanity. But yeah, I mean, it could be cool. It just depends on what they do.
Oh
with it.
shit! I just thought about a topic for us in the future. Who's the smartest people? If you add like Jimmy Neutron with Senku, Dr. Zeno, the guy like Shikamaru, the guy from
LaRoche from
LeRoche.
Copious.
Yes, that's the guy I was talking about. Thank you. Like you knew the first talking about
Yeah.
like that conversation. Like who will resurrect humanity the fastest? Senku is
Yoko from
definitely not.
Classroom the Elite. I'm probably butchering his name, but Classroom the Elite. I don't know if you guys have watched it. He's very like 4D chess ahead of the game, like
But-
3 moves, whatever.
That's a good topic for us to have in the future. A good tier list. Who's the smartest one out there? But Crash, are you excited about this type of Jimmy Neutron? Any type of care for it? If there's a reboot or like a sequel, return of high school setting, college setting.
Gentlemen and ladies who may be watching this show, may I remind you that there is one special character in this show that needs to be very, very, very pointed out. Carl, my boy. If he's not bagging Jimmy's mom at this new show, I ain't watching it. It's trash. My boy Carl deserves them cheeks. He needs them cheeks. No, but real talk, I don't give a fuck about it. Like, it's nice to have the nostalgia, you know, like coming back to like, oh, cool. Like, it was a nice show. The animation was unique for its time, but me thinking about it, like, would I watch it again? Honestly, no. Only because like it was nice for me watching it as a child. Me as an adult, I have other things to watch. I don't think it would be a bad show to watch if it were for release. My question is it good for the children of this generation? Because let's be real, the children of this generation is a little cooked. What does Jimmy Neutron, you know, this sequel, this potential reboot, whatever you want to call it, bring to the table of this new generation? That's what I really care. Do they care about a big brain guy like Jimmy Neutron? Do they care about some sassy
Brain
girl
blast!
like Cindy?
Brain
Yeah.
blast!
I already see anime right now. Fucking Doctor Detective right now going on this season with Brain Blast. She's thinking about fucking equals MC squared. I'm like, oh yeah, bet Jimmy Neutron. That as an adult, I'm very happy with that. But for these kids, Sheen, Carl, Cindy,
Oh God, Sheen.
Mindy, I think that was her name. Ultra Lord. I forgot the name of the soda
Dude,
they used to drink.
I can freaking see Sheen
Fuzzy Furry Flash.
having a podcast talking about freaking Ultra Lord.
Oh, I
Oh
could
my
definitely
God.
see that at podcast Sheen. Yes, I could definitely see that.
A sequel would bring the best thing. It would bring Jimmy's mom. And
Look, chat. Look, I'm gonna just be straight up. Tell us in the comment section below what Nickelodeon project do you actually want to be returned? Are you here for Jimmy Neutron? Because the one project we'll give a shout out to that needs more story is Danny Phantom. That's the one I'm gonna mention. Let's get into the two things that I scared our panelists. Invincible Season 3 drops today as of this recording being released. As you guys are watching, Season 3, Episode 1, 2, and 3 drop already. So if you have forgotten, go and watch it on Amazon Prime. Not sure if it's being announced, if it got released already this morning or this evening. It's just been released. So go check it out, Invincible. And also, chat, let us know if you've been watching the Spider-Man, the new animated show on Disney Plus on Wednesdays. It drops, I believe it drops Wednesday mornings. So Crash, I know I was scared the living shit out of you that when you told you Invincible was coming, you thought it was next week or 2 weeks from now. Are you excited to see the continuation of our boy Mark and the steady generic animation of Amazon Prime with Invincible?
I gotta take out my glasses for this one.
Oh no.
May I remind the good ladies and gentlemen of this podcast that my boy said no to Adam Eve. Do you understand how much this hurts my heart now that we're getting into the nitty gritty of this fight?
Why do you have to remind me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, this, much is about love. It's about, the enjoyment, the entanglement, as you would say, between one another. And now I had to experience, I will not spoil anybody here, but I will mention that there is a big event coming up, a canon event, unfortunately, that I am not looking forward to, that I know the people who have read the book is looking forward to.
I'm still
And if you
curious
don't know what
of
the fuck I'm talking
how
about,
this canon event is going to be executed. I'm still curious.
and if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, please do not look it up yourself. Please, just innocence is bliss.
Does it?
Please.
Does it involve another Viltrumite? Because
Yes.
I think I know what you're talking about. Okay.
All I will say at the matter is
a Viltrumite and a Viltrumite
excellent.
clapping his cheeks.
Jimmy's mom. I would rather watch Carl fucking try to bag Jimmy's mom than that shit. No,
Jimmy's mom.
Jesus.
So yes, Crash. It seems like you're very excited for it. It seems like you're very excited for season 3 to see what could become, because we're getting 3 episodes. So that means we're getting 3 episodes of maybe less than 3 hours of content.
We are getting there are new characters. We have good voice actors coming out. Shout out to the guy who was in Breaking Bad, fucking Jesse. I forgot his name. Aaron Paul. We got him playing a villain. That's gonna be cool to see. And the guy who played the old man. I forgot, bro. I'm really bad with names right now. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But the guy who played the old man in Breaking Bad, he's also playing a mystery character. Maybe the antagonist of season 3. Who the fuck knows? Season 3 is where you want to be right now with the action. Maybe romance, more gore, more plot twists. This is it. We want to see it. We're here for it. Best believe. Stay tuned for that review with Fash, maybe Watkins, maybe Memory, maybe more people here from the studio where we're going to talk about how we felt about it. Was it great? Was it trash? Did we not give a fuck? Who knows?
Walkers, any thoughts about
Hopefully
Invincible?
the animation stepped up.
Yes.
Hopefully the animation stepped up.
That's what
I didn't see a difference. I don't know.
I doubt it.
You guys keep
doubt
talking
it.
about that.
Yep.
I don't see a difference with the animation.
That's the point. It's supposed to improve.
It's
It's supposed to
I
improve.
did it. No. As in, like, so it's a great thing you brought that up, right? Because you guys were talking about this on the second season. From the first season to the second season to what I've seen in the trailer for the third season, I have not seen jack shit. It looks all the fucking same to me personally. That's why I'm like, if you guys see better quality, you guys have better eyesight than me, because I don't see what you guys are seeing.
No, but that's what we're
personally.
talking about. We want better quality, but they haven't improved it. For anybody, look, Amazon Prime has another animation project that they have done, Vox Machina, and the animation has gotten improving every season. And they only have, I believe, 2 seasons right now, and they have the last season coming out, season 3, I believe.
Yes,
so,
season 3 is coming out. Yes.
yeah. So those 3 seasons, if you look at them, they have stellar improve each one. But has Invincible improved each one? No. And this next fight, this next arcs that we're getting are gonna be hands being thrown. So that's the question: is the animation doesn't improve? It means they're getting lazy, or they have the budget and they're putting the budget more on the voice actors they're hiring. So that's the disappointing part. When there's literally animators, there's anime that has the voice actors that are actually very good, and you can hire them to make the voice cheaper or whatever, but have money in the animation project be stellar for Invincible, and that's a disappointing aspect.
Yeah.
You got me curious,
that's
thinking
the
who was the animation studio for Invincible, and it's Skybound Animation, which all they've done is The Walking Dead and Impact Winter. I don't know if you guys have watched that show. So I want to say they're relatively new for Prime Video. I don't think like they have done anything big on the scale of Invincible. So you guys would know better animation quality than me when it comes to like Western animation. I think it looks fine overall. Like, I personally haven't had a problem with how it looked. Like I just care more for like the voice actors, because the quality, the emotion you feel for these characters from season 1 and onwards is what I'm looking forward to when I watch Invincible. And so far, everyone has been perfect in every single way, portraying their characters in their own unique and individual way. That's me. I'm not looking for the animation aspect because just based on what I've seen with the comics, mind you, haven't read it, just from what I've seen from like pictures here and there, it looks more or less the same. Like it's not going to be high tier 8K quality, but like it's not the worst thing we've seen either.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's like it's not the worst, but it's like it again, like what Pedro Pascal said in Wonder Woman that quoted earlier. It's good, but it can be better.
Exactly.
Like, it's just that kind of thing, So yeah, that's all we want. Just be better. Look, I think the kicker with it is the fact that before season 2, they had that teaser animation, and
that looked great.
It was like awesome, and people were like, "Yes, this is gonna be an awesome cartoon." And then season 2, part 1 of season
the first 3-4 episodes came out, and you guys were like, "What the fuck is this?"
And we got that quality, and not only that, then we get part 2,
and wasn't any better.
The same freaking quality. Yeah, it's just like, what are we doing? What are you guys getting paid to do?
When you have low standards in animation and it's disappointing, as somebody who watches HBO Max, or Max as the product is called, the Adventures of Superman, and that looks the similar animation style of coloring, and it's fucking better. You see Superman flying, you see that he's fighting in season 2, he's fighting fucking Brainiac, and when Brainiac look fucking all robotic and everything, and you fighting Kara, and you fighting this ancient historian of Kryptonian and stuff, and it looks good quality. The animation of the other powers that the bad guys like Luthor looks, you see the build up. The Adventures of Superman could literally be like 5, 6, 8 seasons. It could be long as Smallville, but depending of the timing, the budget, and everything else. The same thing with Castlevania. Yeah. It's a Western project from Netflix, and that shit is 10 times better. I will put Castlevania over Invincible any fucking minute of the day.
Even Harley Quinn in HBO is not that bad looking, despite it's mixed reviews.
Creature Commandos has better animation.
Yeah.
You got me there. You know what? You're speaking facts right now.
So now you see more understanding when it comes to the low quality compared to other current animation being done by even current comic book adaptation. Whereas like Invincible, like you have great comic, you have a great story, but your animation, cartoon, whatever, is having low standards. That's a disappointing aspect for it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But chat, you guys heard about our Otaku news. You guys heard the big couple things that we want to reach and talk about and talk to you, that how we feel about the pop culture. Next week is the Super Bowl this past weekend that's going to be approaching right now for us. So we'll be talking about not really the results. If it was a good game, I'll give that more to Watkins or Crash or anybody on the panel that knows more about football to give the discussion. Me, I'll be giving more discussion about the halftime, about our boy Kendrick Lamar, and about the production, because those things are always fascinating to me. And the Super Bowl trailers, we'll be definitely talking about that on the following episode and our next love theme for next week, and it is the best top 10 rom-com in media and anime. So we will be having a list and debate of the funniest romantic anime and live action movies. But that's for next week. What did I say for earlier today for our main topic? It is the science of love in anime. We're going to dive into the movies, anime, TV series, and video games that explore the love for unique angles, such as love through AI, forbidden romance, or the sci-fi fantasy of love stories. The first thing I want to ask you guys, Watkins, as our expertise, what is love?
Oh, what is love?
And how do you see it? How do you see it being portrayed in fiction, and what makes it compelling? Like, for example, when we get to media, not everyone gets emotional or cry at the same scene. If us three watch the same scene, we're all gonna feel different. So as the consumer, how do you feel that love gets told in portraying love?
Well, I'm gonna start by saying fuck love and everything to do about it.
Yes.
But seriously, it's like you want to be relatable with it, and because that's the thing. Like, we live in a time where it's like, yeah, we want to have. It would be great to see like that storybook ending for everything. Oh, everybody lives happily ever after. Oh, you met your Prince Charming. Isn't that great? Isn't that fantastic? That's not how the real world works. No, you're not going to meet your Prince Charming and go right off into the sunset and everything's all hunky dory. No, you're going to get home, you're going to get married, and you're going to realize, oh crap, this woman farts. I don't like that. Like you're gonna have like, and that's just like, bare bones, whatever have you. So like I like a story that's more just kind of grounded when it comes to like romance or anything, or like again something that I can relate to, or like something that just feels natural. So like I mean, I'm just gonna look at our list really quick just to kind of get a good example to kind of pull through. um I'm not seeing anything. So you know what? I'm gonna be controversial. MHA. Oh, good old My Hero Academia. Look, look here, ladies and
I
gentlemen, boys
swear
and
to
girls.
God, if you're gonna say what you're gonna say, I'm going to be pissed. Choose your words carefully, please, sir.
And ignorant children of the Isles. Oh boy. There's some romance in there. That's it's all right. It's fine. It's okay. Some headcanons agree and all that, but like Deku and Uraraka. Um, I have experienced people like that in high school before, where it's just like, oh yeah, we're friends and all that, but like, you know for a fact that there's more in there. You know that there is. The one guy gives him her little gift, and she's all like, "Oh, oh no," but like they just don't do anything yet, and he's just like, "Go ahead, kiss her, and start dating." And, they might talk a little bit here and there, but like it's more about just like kind of the natural feel of it. So it's like they're not jumping into it because like, hey, we got to focus on, and especially in their culture and all that. It's like we got to focus on getting better at what our careers are going to be and all that. So like we need to focus on that before adding anybody else into our lives. And it's kind of something you hear when it comes to our life as well. It's just like, okay, how can you love somebody if you can't love yourself? Oh, you should probably have a good foundation before you get to know somebody even better or try to start a life with somebody like that. So like I kind of look at it as that way. It's just like, okay, do they have a good foundation here? And of course, I'm sure there are better examples that show that. Trust me, I know. It's just I don't really watch a lot of romance anime, so I don't really have a lot to go off of with that. I don't know. I don't even know why MHA was the first thing that popped in my head, but we're just gonna go with that. But yeah, it's more of just like the natural kind of grounded feeling that I at least look for when I look at media when it comes to romance like that. Like, let me see the foundation built. Let's build upon that and then just move forward with it.
All right. I see the vision of how you see love in the media. Now, Crash, as somebody who loves talking about rom-coms, every single week when it comes to our own show of seasonal anime coverage off the binge, how do you see what is love? What is it that draws your attention? Because you told us in our podcast episodes of you're a hopeless romantic.
What I will Before I answer that question, I'll just rewind back to Walken's thing. I swear to God, I thought you were gonna talk about Miss Midnight. I was gonna be like, no, please, not Miss Midnight. Don't say nothing bad about her. Okay.
No, no. Midnight was great.
You have my heart skipping a beat. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, please don't say nothing. That was wholesome. I'm not gonna lie. That was a very wholesome one. I've always been a hopeless romantic. Even before watching anime, I've always been the one to initiate. I've always been the guy, if I fall in love with a girl or have a crush on a girl, to go and confess. I would be the one passing. I'm an old school kind of romantic. I'm not like the new guys using these dating apps and whatnot. I've always been we're sitting next to each other in school. I'll pass a crumpled note with like some like pencil there, slide it to her, or even give it to her in the hand.
Poem for you.
Exactly. And dreading because she's sitting right behind me for the answer. I'm just praying, please don't reject me. Just give me a chance. I just want to show you how much I like you. and this applies to anime, because the trope is always going to remain the same. It's never going to go away. You either have the helpless girl or the helpless guy. It can either be in high school, it can be in college, it can be in a office scene. The scenarios could be in a variety of ways, but it always ends the same. Guy likes girl or girl likes guy, and they just don't know how to connect. So they try to find, based on their environment, a way to try to connect each other. And I just like that. I love seeing like nice brand new relationships blossom brand new for the first time. People learning how to like better themselves, better each other, and just grow out of their shell to actually confess their feelings. Because every anime that I've seen, majority of the romance ones, is always the confession part that I love the most out of it, the kiss scene, or even what I personally like out of everything, the spicy, sleeping at the very end before the last episode, like, this is our last night together. Maybe we could have, some, a nightcap wink wink. So why not spice up and make me feel a little bit more like, yes, they're gonna solidify their relationship together. And even to now with these new romance animes, you kind of still get that, which I didn't think that was possible. But I'm glad that the trope is not dying, and there's still original ways that anime is still showing us that like love won't die no matter how you try to milk the fuck out of it with capitalism.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, when you said that about like them finally getting it on and all that, for some reason the first series that came to my mind was Uzaki, with like those pages from like one of the chapters where like they actually finally go at it.
Are you talking about Uzaki-chan was a hangout?
Yeah, that like because I don't read or watch the series, but I know of it, because of reasons, internet, whatever. But like I saw that those like that chapter came out where they finally got it on, and it's like she's like sitting on the bed, like oh no, we're gonna do this, and then like he comes out of the shower, and then like he just like whips it out. She's just like oh wait, that's gonna wait a minute and just like I don't know why that came into my mind when you explained that part. I'm just like, oh wait, that's what he's talking about. That right there, just that like finally they did it.
What I was referring to, and that's great, by the way. I actually have never read the manga, but I'm glad to know that's going to happen in the future. What I was referring to.
Sorry. Oh my god, I am sorry if I spoiled that. Holy shit!
No,
I'm sorry, guys.
I'm about to say, chat. I don't think that's a spoiler as much as like you watch a rom-com for this couple to eventually fuck or eventually date, so you know they eventually are gonna do something.
Mom has double D.
It was pasted everywhere.
Bro. I know it's bound to happen eventually. It's mid for me. It's still like a nice palate cleanser. No, the anime I was referring to, and I do recommend this for anybody who doesn't know what to watch this month. Toradora, the spoiler, major spoiler. When the two are together, they ran away from home. They're at this. I don't know if it was a specific home they're staying at or like a hotel, whatever. But they, had to go back home and face their family and like move and whatever, even though they didn't want to stay apart. So they stayed the night together, and she kind of like tiptoed around the idea like, oh, like let's kiss. So they kiss a couple of times, and she asking for more and more, and like your heart start when you're watching this at 12 in the morning as a as an adolescent child, when your sheets over you and you're like, ooh, this is getting a little interesting, and this girl's saying to him, I want one more kiss. I want another kiss. I want another kiss. And then they pull the sheets down between, and then the scene changes to the morning. Yes. And you're like, okay, bet they fucked. Let's get it. And then you see what happened in the end, which I'm not going to spoil. I hope you guys get to watch. That to me is like wholesome spiciness. It's like you don't know what happened, but it's implied that you know what had happened.
Right.
And if you don't know and you want to find out, there's a manga that you guys can read for sure. So there's always answers to the questions, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't see it animated, there's always manga to go to. So that stuff like that always gets me on my toes, really gets my heart racing. I'm like, yes, this is what I like to see. But I didn't think of a Yuzaki-chan. That actually was a fun one. I didn't think of that personally.
Yeah, again, it's just the first one that came to mind. I'm just because I guess it's so recent that like just the other day it popped up on my timeline. I'm just like, didn't this end like a few months ago? Oh, okay.
Season 2 had released a couple years. I think 2021 or 2020, something like that. Season 3 is yet to be announced, but that's the I assume what you were referring to. That this was supposed to come out, but Nothing
Yeah.
happened so
Who
far.
knows?
So
Right before we jump into our categories, I'm gonna just explain, a bit of Vash's perspective, where how he sees what is love in his media. Because look, Vash is not an emotional person all the time. He's a very lovely, dovely, hopeless romantic when it comes to his partner. He's a romantic gesture. He gives the love. He does the date nights. He plans it out. He does all the romantic shit they could think of. But when it comes to media, when it comes to romance, I love watching anime as my favorite when it comes to romance. When it comes to video games, I'll give them a second, and the TV shows, and then movies. Movies is not saying that they don't get me. Movies is more the rom-com cringiness is what I would call it. Because for anybody I've seen rom-coms, for anybody I've seen Ryan Reynolds and all the movies of Adam Sandler, or the not comedy
Carrey.
ones, yeah, Jim Carrey ones, like all the rom-coms that are funny but also hopeless romantic, or I forgot the one of Justin Timberlake. I believe he did one too. I believe it was called like Friends with Benefits.
Yeah,
I
no
believe
strings
it,
attached.
yeah, No Strings Attached,
Oh,
and he did
yeah.
another one, Mia Kunis. Like, chat, all of these that we're talking about, we are gonna mention them next week in a different categories. But I'm just giving the examples of what I could relate to, because that's how I get the emotion spring. It's like, how can I be connected to it? Like, for example, Squid Game season 1, we had our MC caring for one of the girls. That's he wanted her to survive so he could meet the little brother, but then she just his friend decided to kill her at the end just so they could fight at the end. That's not forbidden love or not even AI love, but it was something that like I could be connected to, and I could understand. Like, he has such a good heart. I'm the type of person I am. My father has called me this as little. I have a lion's heart. I'm a person that cares for others, and I'm willing to protect others. So those are type of love stories in anime or media that always, pulls my heartstring. Like, sometimes the music is what always gets me. If you have a bad composer or the score don't build up to what we're gonna lead to, the emotion, the tension, or the kiss, that's where it falls me. But if you got the emotion, the scene, and I'm on my toes. It's like, are we gonna get to the kiss? Are we gonna get like, yes, she finally kissed him, or he finally got the girl? Like, that's where it gets me into my heartstrings. Like, that was beautiful. Like, I actually tear, or my heart was beating fast because the anxiety of what I'm watching. Like, that's what pulls my heartstring. So that's what I love as my favorite moments. But
As my mentor would say, you are a man of culture as well.
yes, I'm a man of culture. So that is what or how I will see love being expressed in my love stories when it comes to media being consumed. But not to get to the questions of anime. We're gonna break it down first to anime/animation of what is the stories that gets told in a forbidden love, science fiction, AI. I'm gonna go first and talk about it to the ones that I can relate to or have watched. Beastars, one that is literally forbidden love between carnivores and herbivores. My man is a werewolf that he wants to fuck a bunny. That's literally the first season.
Look,
Like, how more else can you not literally be forbidden of not being with one another? You cannot be fucking the thing you eat.
I mean, never mind. I'm gonna keep it PG, and I mean, in a way,
yes. But when
know.
it comes to this aspect, like, hey, he could eat what he could fuck, but he cannot date
Yeah.
the person he fuck in public because they're two different species in two different ways. But so I find
I'm
it
gonna have to
pretty.
control myself this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh, my mind
We're
is
gonna have a
go
lot of dark
straight to the
humor in this
gutter
episode.
A lot of the time.
So
Oh no, it's just gonna be a lot of gutter humor.
So Beastars is one that I would recommend for anybody that have not watched it. Go ahead and watch it. It is a lot of furries. So if you're not a big furry fan, they're fucking. That's what it is. And they're, I believe, in high school. And they're on season 3. Part 1 already released. Part 2 is gonna release sometime this year. So if you're not into that yet, one that I will give another shout out to is Soul Art Online. Season 1, they have an AI daughter. Like, literally straight up, they have an AR daughter that our boy, the Black Swordsman Kirito, and our Asuna, they're both the parents of an AI daughter. But then our boy Kirito in season 3, Alicization, Alice, she's an AI love interest or side piece or war soldier, a brother in arms, and she's a person that's an AI as well, and that's forbidden love because you don't fucking exist other than this fucking computer interface and this human mind being evolving. So that's one I would say is online. The other one I would take right now, I didn't get to watch it, but it was in my planning for last year. I think this was a summer anime of 2024. My wife has no emotion. I
No,
I was gonna
why would you want to watch that?
Hey, it has a cute poster. My boy's hugging his AI robot. He literally is hugging his mate. I'm like, oh, that's just interesting. And like, hey, it's like, how can you love this AI robot? Does it grow emotion? I'm curious to see if it's good or not. Haven't said I'm gonna watch it, had it planning, but I believe you or our boy Memory NK, he told me to drop or something. So I think I did, not too sure or not to remember.
I need 60 seconds, please. Let me convince him not to watch this, please.
We had this conversation already. All I'm just saying is my wife has no emotion is one thing I was planning to watch it. Not sure if I'm gonna go ahead to. A big shout out to 86, but I know Crash is gonna speak about it more. I only seen 86 part 1, or technically the show is called 8686. I've only seen part 1. It's fucking amazing. It's literally like you cannot fall in love with your commander. They have the chemistry. They have the bond of love, but they cannot be with one another for obvious reasons. I don't want to spoil it to the audience, so go check out 86 if you haven't. But Crash, what would you say out of our list or any other list that we haven't brought up when it comes to examples of forbidden love, of romance, and sci-fi fantasy storylines?
I look, I'm not gonna lie to everyone here. I have a lot of animes here that I would love to speak on, right? And the honest truth is, I would love to literally just put them all on the table and talk all about it for hours and hours because there are so many recommendations here to talk about. But if the question is of the current list we have here so far, which one would I talk about the most that I think is the most like prime example of love that is either forbidden or anything like that, right? My biggest thing, shout out to Your Name, World's End Harem. Highly disagree. Do not watch that shit. That is the worst trash ass harem ever. Please do not watch that.
Read the manga. Read the manga. No, read the manga. Hell yeah. That if you want to see some good ecchi panels and some good down in the gutter, like Walker said, read the manga.
Good ecchi. All right, fine. I'll take Bash's word for it because the manga's ending anyways. Watch the first half of the first season of Sword Art Online. Everything else is at the viewer's discretion if they choose to. Dragon Ball Z, is a iconic. If you know, you know. Near Automata. I've only watched the anime, never played the game, but it's also great too. Darling in the Franxx, very, very, very great. Topical anime to speak on too. I have personally never watched it, but I've heard decent things about it. Atari My Dear Moments, also same thing. Wonder Egg Priority was also nominated for the Crunchyroll Awards a couple years back.
Yes, it did. Really good animation. I know they spoke about a few episodes. They spoke about love, and a few episodes they spoke about depression, anxiety, and also suicidal. A few of those episodes, like theme wise. So I know it was very graphic in the storytelling and theme type of related. So I know it was very. But I'm glad I do recall they had some award nominations. I don't recall if they actually did win any.
They didn't, unfortunately. I did vote for them, even though I didn't watch the anime, so it is on my to-do list. Shame, but at least they get nominated. My wife has no motion. Fuck that shit. Cyberpunk Edge Runners and fucking Our Last Crusade or Rise of the New World. Those are two animes I deeply, deeply, deeply want to speak on, but unfortunately, I'm gonna have to leave it to the side. Persona 5, and I will speak on this now. It was supposed to be my intro, but I'm gonna say it here. If you don't choose the nurse or the teacher, do not fucking talk to me about that game or the anime. There's only one choice. You could even go either or, and I will let that slide. Anybody else? Hell no. 86, also same thing with that. Shout out to that anime. I had to watch it. It was so great. I'm so upset I missed out on it. I had a lot of other animes to catch up on. I do plan to watch that very soon.
I do recommend it.
I even think from time to time, fuck it, just drop everything and watch it. That's how good it is. That's how even to this day, like I could just be like, fuck it, just start it and just see where I go with it because I know it's gonna touch my heart. That's how good of an anime it is. I highly recommend that as well. The main anime that I did want to bring up that I, would say is very, very both controversial but yet thought provoking, Rumbling Hearts. And just to speak about it real quick, imagine, gentlemen, you are back in high school and you are going out with, your high school sweetheart, right? And she has a best friend. The three of you guys are the three musketeers, you guys living life, hanging out, chilling. It's all good times, good vibes, no problems. And all of a sudden, your girlfriend gets hit by a truck-kun, gasp, but she doesn't get isekai. She gets into a coma. Your heart's broken, you're crying, you don't know when they're gonna wake up. You get depressed. You graduate high school. Her best friend comes to you. She's also said she lost her friend. The two of you are at a loss, and you guys have a moment of of both empathy and a little bit of lust. All of a sudden, maybe because it's adolescence, maybe because you need to fill the void and the gap that is romance. You don't know what, but you kiss each other. You're cheating on your girlfriend now with her best friend. 3 years pass. You are now working for this, big company, doing your thing. You go home, and now you are married to your girlfriend's best friend. Gasp. All of a sudden, you get a call from the hospital, and they tell you, oh, bada bing, bada boom. Your girlfriend woke up from the coma. So now you and the best friend have to run to the hospital with her family and everything. She has short-term memory loss. Long-term memory loss, excuse me. So she doesn't know what year it is. She doesn't know how much time has passed. She still thinks she's in the year from 3 years ago, leaving school, high school, and everything like that. She doesn't understand why you guys look so older, why everything looks a little more different. She's very, she's very distraught, but the doctors and her family's trying to calm her down and make sure she doesn't go berserk because potentially she may go back into a coma if she realizes how much time has passed. You've lost so much time in your life. You've been sleeping all this time. You don't want to realize, yeah, hey, it's been 3 years now. Donald Trump's back, as president. Nvidia graphics card is $590, and things are getting expensive. But hey, at least you watch anime, online. She doesn't know about all that, so she still thinks that she's going out with this guy, the boyfriend.
That's awkward as hell.
Yeah, so now the whole anime is this love triangle, figuring out that he has to pretend now that they're still going out with the original girlfriend, and the best friend is thinking, oh, I think he's catching back feelings for her. I need to win him back. I need to tell this girl everything. It builds up to this guy making a decision on, do I choose the girl that I used to love or the girl that is her best friend that I'm with now? It is very forbidden. It really makes you think. It's really fucked up when you think about it. The controversial thing I'll say just real quick was the manga sucks ass because you don't get the ending that you want. The anime is what the canon is, but it's not the character you wanted. So take that with a grain of salt. Think about that. It's not the best, but I like the fact that it really makes you think like, fuck, you got two girls on top of your head. They're not that bad looking. They're pretty good in their own right. But you as a man has to figure out what fills my void. And I got to be honest with the other one, like, hey, I don't want you no more. That's it. We're done. And realistically, you have a pass with both of them now. Which one do you care for the most? Choose wisely, my brothers and sisters.
Word.
How about you, Watkins? What anime do you have that feels like has hit this for you in this theme that we have for tonight?
I mean, y'all basically hit the ones that I know more about. I do at least because I'm sure there's gonna be somebody in the comments being like, "Oh, what Dragon Ball Z? What the fuck? Why would they even say it?" Look, guys, Krillin in Android 18. I mean, he had the chance to destroy Android 18, but no, she's too hot. She's too beautiful. Nah, I gotta get with that. I gotta get with that lady. I'm gonna, you know, risk the whole world just to bang this robot. Cool, great, neat. Good job, Krillin. You just made Cell perfect. Aren't you great? So at least pointing that out with the whole AI aspect of it. But I mean, we hit on a few of these already. I mean, Darling in the Franks. I don't. I the way that series kind of went. I don't. I don't know how well I would say that was good, but at least the romance was. What was that?
Fuck Ichigo, the girl, the blue hair girl.
Yeah.
No. I know about that. I know about that. I know about her. Fuck that. Fuck that noise. She needs to go away. She needs to go. Oh, and also, I feel bad for that fat guy. I feel bad for the fat kid.
Oh yeah, boy,
he deserved it. He deserved better than that. He deserved better than that.
Can I explain real quick? I'm sorry,
please.
Imagine, gentlemen, please. You are in love with this girl in this group of people that you're with in this dystopian world. And
in a series, mind you, that's basically like, hey, we're gonna throw you in this like couple situation for everybody. Yeah, you're basically fucking each other, but you're not actually fucking each other because we can't show teens actually doing things. It's an allegory, metaphor. Whatever bullcrap.
It's not even. Anyways. So they put them in the situation, right? But they don't know nothing about all this stuff, right? Not until you get into the later episodes, which isn't explained. Like they're hiding a lot of things from these children, which is so messed up. But we'll get into that, right? But anyway, you're this guy, this thick dude, as you would say. You maybe have a couple of pounds, but you don't care. You're living life. You're happy. You're happy with the way you is, and you like this shorty in this group of this. And you're a little shy to express your emotions to this girl because you don't know how you would go about saying it to her, right? So the thing with this is that you had to connect with a person to control this Gundam, this robot, whatever. I'm gonna call it a Gundam. It's not really, but let's call it Gundam for sakes and purposes. It's a big ass
people
robot,
right now in the chat right now just screaming at you. It's not Gundam. It's called Mecha. It's Mecha.
Know what? I don't give a flip. I don't give a flip. It's
Mecha.
A Gundam, dang it.
Mecha Gundam. I look, whatever tickles your fancy, right? The point is, you are with Shorty riding this robot, and during this time, you were able to talk to her, and you tell her, "Hey, we're gonna be together forever, right? We're gonna ride the robot together, right?" She's like, "Yeah, for sure. I fucks with you. You're a cool dude for sure." But low key, there's another dude that peeps her interest. Right? You wouldn't even call him the antagonist. He's like the dickhead, but he's the dickhead because he's intelligent, right? That's just his personality, right? And Shorty peeps him. And Shorty likes his vibe. She likes his demeanor, what he puts down. He's on business, and this girl fucks with it heavy. So one day, they're reading a book about medicine, and that book of medicine also refers to the art of sexuality, meaning penetration. No pun intended. Girl read it, guy read it. So they had a moment together alone between the sheets.
They did it, I think, in the farm or like in a flower garden or something.
In a raw flower garden, yeah.
Yeah, flower garden was.
Noises were made. Moans were heard. Fucking sweat going down each other's bodies. Shit went down and you didn't expect it. Next thing you know, now they're riding the fucking robot. And you know what Shorty has the audacity to do to my boy? Not even look at him. Kept him moving with the other guy, and that was it.
Shoulder. I'll be like, bitch, you are crazy. I would hate you.
My boy was heartbroken. Justice for him. I fucking forgot your name because it's been a minute, but I remember 02.
Hey, you gave a lot of more memories than I did. All I remember was Flower Garden.
Those are the only ones that matter.
Exactly.
I thank you, Falcons, by the way, for reminding me that. Damn. Fuck. I was having hate for the blue hair girl, but you know what? No. We got to talk about the real big thing. That man needed justice. Shout out to him. Oh God, man.
Yeah.
You know what? They got together at the end, but
man.
Yeah, just he said it, not me.
Just the fat man from Darling in the Franks.
Justice for him. I do want to give a shout out to another anime before we move on to our transition to the movies. Is Science Fell in Love, so I try to prove it. Literally, on the nose of the science theme 2-hour love theme. For anybody that hasn't seen the show, I do recommend it's 2 seasons. I think it's less than 24 episodes, and the show is literally on the nose. Science fell in love, so I try to prove it. Is about what it means. There's 2 scientists, and they work in theories. For anybody that hasn't seen the show Big Bang Theory, is kind of like it in its own type of anime style, where 2 characters that are so into science. One of them had never had love experience. The other one has never touched or dabble in that. They both interact and they try to prove how can they love each other. And during this process, they fall in love with each other, and then they understand that you can't really prove love. You could have some type of idea of it, but you can't really prove it. So it's a great aspect of it. So I do recommend it for anybody to see if you want to see the science of how can you actually prove love. And they have some good type of theories. They have the way you touch somebody, the way you lock eyes with somebody, body language. When you touch your partner's hand, you start sweating, the heartbeat changes, like your respiratory system once you kiss them, and the sparks. You know how girls will say after butterflies, all those type of little things. How can they get in common? So really good anime with those type of theories and those type of analogies. So I do recommend it for anybody to go check it out.
I will say real quick to the anime, and everyone on this podcast can 100% relate to me at one point in their lives. The first season also brings up a very important point. Gentlemen, this one is specifically for you. Take notes now before Valentine's Day. When you make your woman mad, she will act to you in a specific way. And they get into scientific detail about why she gets mad and what your options are when she gets mad. If you choose the wrong choice, she will not talk to you. If you choose the wrong choice, she will scream at you. And worst case scenario, if you say the wrong choice, she will hit you violently. So, boys, pay attention to what they say during this show, specifically in that first episode, in the first season with the aquarium date. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Pay attention. Do not say the wrong thing to her. And if you do, always make the comeback with the right words. Otherwise, you're cooked and you're gonna sleep outside in the cold and you're fucked. And sorry, my boy.
That and just buy flowers and chocolate. It always helps. Buy flowers and chocolate, chat. But that is some animes that we recommend that comes to this. Some other stuff that we have on our list is Vivi Flower's Eyes Song. Is an AI learning about human emotions and love. Also, Your Name. We also have Ghost in the Shell, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I haven't finished, and I need to finish. I've only seen up to episodes 3 or 4. I never got to the end. But you know how many times, chat, I've listened to this damn fucking song since then. Where is it? If
I had $1 for every time Batcha said, I want to watch this anime, but I can't, I swear to God, I'm pretty sure I would have paid my rent already.
The song is called I Really Want to Stay at Your House. That the amount of times I've listened to the song is insane. I've listened to the song nonstop since that song has come out for the game and for the animation show. So it's one of the best ones I've listened to. Like we also said,
it's in the game. You can play it in the game.
Oh, that's fine. You could. Didn't know. But hey, good thing that we're not talking about love songs. So that would have been a whole longer anime, a whole longer podcast. Which we could do that. Which we could. There's a lot of good songs. But hey,
don't get any
ideas. No ideas right now.
Don't you dare.
But chat,
potential.
Talking about ideas, let's get into our movies. How do live action stories handle the themes differently from anime? So I want to pass it first to Crash. So Crash, what are some movies that relate to you when it comes to this story, and how do they do it different from anime? Because anime has 12 episodes. Maybe we're lucky, 24 episodes, maybe 36. But in movies, when they have fucking 2 hours to tell from story point A to the climax, to the epilogue, to the book end of end credit.
I had put down a couple things of movies, that I could talk about. But there was one movie, and I shout out to my wife that, I did watch it with her. I had almost forgot about that I had just watched it recently, and I had to talk about that because, in a sense, that is forbidden love, is forbidden romance, and that is Elemental. You have these different elemental beings.
Great
that
choice,
are
yes,
told that
you're right.
they cannot be together.
Because of fire and water.
Yeah, and that goes in with I'll say a little bit about me and my love life. Like, I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a fire sign. My wife, she's a Taurus. She's an Earth sign. We are not compatible by any means, and I always say this to all my friends and family. Um, the first couple of months we started dating, we actually did like a little test to see how compatible we are, and it only said 23%. And we've been together for 7 years now and known her for 8. So,
So
every
that
time,
thing
I
was
look into her eyes,
wrong.
23%, baby. Every time I say it, 23%. And, when I'm watching the movie, I'm just like looking at it, I'm just like, it
Mine, by the
is true.
was 43%. Me and my partner, she is I believe, what's October? October
Oh
17th.
my God. Oh, Aquarius. No, that's after. Excuse me.
No, she's a Libra.
Scorpio. Scorpio.
No, she's a
Libra?
Libra. She's a Libra.
Okay.
She
Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Aquarius.
So yeah, so she's Libra, I'm a Taurus, and I believe we're 43%. I believe is when we did our thing, and so far again, 7 years later, we're still above that. So I feel like we're good. And to me, like, hey, props to you, Crash, because I'm not. I'm the opposite. My girl believes in those science stuff and the percentage stuff. Me, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, hey, you know what we could do about that 43 or that 23%? We could throw that shit out the window and figure that shit ourselves and make that shit work because we want it to work. That's my mindset. So I'm like, hey, your 43, that ain't bad. It's close to 50. So I feel like that proves a good percentage.
But to going to to the movie, right? It makes you think like, damn, can I be with somebody like that? Knowing that maybe the family might accept me, maybe that like the way that we act and we are then is not gonna work. Every person in there, for this movie, right? Because I've heard a lot of bad things about it. What I will say at least is
Really?
every person, yeah.
I really enjoyed Elemental. I believe I heard like it was a solid 4 out of 5 for most people, a good 8 out of 10 for most people. I enjoyed it. I saw with wifey too. Really good, beautiful soundtrack. Good score to the movie.
Yeah, the soundtrack was amazing.
I
what it
cried
was?
at the end. Like it was really
I
emotional.
wanted to cry like a bitch so badly. And I was like, no, Crash, you're a man. Keep that shit to yourself. Don't do it. But I think what had happened when Elemental first released in theaters, that I think it was Pixar that made this. Didn't advertise it enough
Correct.
for a lot of people to
They
know
didn't.
that a lot of. So that's
No.
why it wasn't in the beginning. It wasn't really like a big movie that people were going into. And I believe this came out when during COVID. If I'm
No,
not
it
mistaken,
came out
or-
in November.
It was like 2020. No, not 2020.
I got
it
you.
was 2022, wasn't it?
Let me know, Chad, if you guys know the year,
Yeah.
because your boy, he got so many numbers and pics of etchiness
Yeah.
in his mind. He can't remember when this movie released. But the movie
2023
itself,
November. It was actually 2 years ago.
Okay.
yeah. So it was okay. So it wasn't that long ago. I'm not that too far off.
Yeah.
Pixar didn't do a lot of advertising for it. Not a lot of people had known about it. That's why it wasn't really well known at the time. With time that has passed, a lot of people now are talking like, oh, yeah, it's not that bad of a movie. When you're bored, you want to watch something on Disney Plus, you're going to see through the list like, oh, Elemental, let me watch something about that. And it just brings up great points that, like, even if you can't be with somebody, like that, you could try to make it work. You could try to express yourselves in ways that you couldn't imagine, and you actually may end up being in a place where you're really genuinely happy with that person. It doesn't matter what anybody says or what they can take away from you. It's you're in the moment now, and that person makes you more happier than you could ever be. Take that chance, take that risk, take the leap of faith, because life is very short, and you can't get any more chances than what you can get today. So why not take that chance with that person that you may not see tomorrow?
Amen. I suggest anybody to go check us to see Elemental as well. The behind the scenes, if you like behind the scenes footage as well, the director Peter Son was in this behind the scenes. I recommend. It's only good like 43 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour max. And it's a guy from New York City. I believe he lived in the Bronx, and the stories inspire him from his parents and inspired from his love life. So
Yes, you're absolutely. Now that you're saying something, I do remember seeing something about that online. Yes, he was from Chinatown or like an immigrant or something like that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So he came from a background from that. So and he dated somebody out of his class, which he's the main character. Like him, the director, he was the water guy. I forgot the name of the character. And the girl he fell
Don't
in love with
remember.
was the fire chick. So it makes sense to the story, and the parents being immigrants as the people from the fire tribe, that they were making coal, and they was they were living in the suburbs. No, so not suburbs. They was living in like
The
in the
trenches.
trenches, in the broken down area, broken down pipes. So
Yeah.
they made it work. Good movie and a great choice. Good choice on that. A choice that I would say that really inspired me is two ones. Two movies is Wally and iRobot. Those are my two that I would give in this reference, because for iRobot, for those who haven't seen it, it's a Will Smith movie from 2003, maybe, from the top of my head.
Sure.
iRobot is literally a robot that came out malfunctioning from out of the other warehouse, is what I call it, and he has emotions. He has his own mind, and he wants to learn, and he doesn't want to die. And that's something that of a robot trying to accept humanity. And by the end of the film, it seems like he is taking over humanity, or never know, because there is no type of second type of movie, which I'm glad there isn't. It was a one-off when it comes to Will Smith movies. And iRobot, it was an interesting concept to accept how much are you willing the AI robot to help you. There's robots that was helping you, elderly women, elderly people to get stuff. Even in the beginning of the movie, Will Smith was a cop, and he stopped a robot from bringing a purse to a lady that needed their asthma inhaler, I believe. And Will
Mhm.
Smith thought the robot was robbing, but Will Smith cannot accept that no robot could do any bad, which is like, that's hard to believe, because the robot is not designed for that. But what happened if eventually they will grow and become Skynet? You never know. That's possible.
Yeah.
So that
Right.
to me is one movie I'll give a highlight to. Wally as well. For anybody who have not seen this original type of Pixar films, Wally is literally a robot that was old of its time, and it was still left on Earth. And there's this beautiful angelic AI robot that is beautiful as coat white skin, and sorry, not what coat white skin, coat white hardware, and they fell in love, and they have a little cute romantic time of a movie that actually had not a lot of dialogue. The only dialogue was obviously the sound effects from Wally and the robot, and the fat humans that was on the futuristic type of hoverboards. And the movie really made it impactful of just to show body language and sound effects of how these two robots really spoke to one another, of showing affection, but without knowing that they were showing affection. They just wanted a companionship. So that, to me, as a movie, it really got me emotional. I haven't rewatched Wally in the last couple of years that I could recall, but I have rewatched iRobot because it's Will Smith, and it's a good type of action film, and also it's a good ideology film to read into it. But those are two films that really spoke to me about the forbidden love, the science in love. How about you, Watkins?
I mean, I looked at the list that we kind of went and created before, jumping in on here. I think the one I really want to kind of highlight is Her.
That's a great
So
one.
I
Really?
watched, yeah. So I watched this movie back in college for a philosophy class I took.
Ooh, okay.
Um,
Oh boy.
and this, so quick synopsis. Hey, a lonely like, he's not a horrible guy, but he's just a very lonely, depressed guy, and he ends up falling in love with an AI. Now, I think the AI, she was voiced by Scarlett
Scarlett
Johansson, I
Yes,
Johansson.
Scarlett
think.
Yes, sir.
Johansson,
Yep.
and they were
Yeah.
supposed to play being
So
homage to Siri, I believe.
yeah, that was the whole concept of it. Is just like, this guy falls in love with this AI unit that it basically talks back to him, and because of him being so lonely, being like by himself, because I think again, it's been so long since I've seen the movie. I think he had gone through a divorce, or like he was going through one. Either way, like he was by himself and all that. And the only person he had, because he had no friends and all that, it was only him and his AI and all that. And it got to a point where he did start kind of falling in love with it. And like, I, again, it's been so long. I want to go back and watch the movie again, because like I think it was a thing where like the AI was learning more and more about how to respond to him and all that.
I haven't
And it
watched it,
got to a
Sally.
point
I have
where,
seen the the
Mhm,
trailers of it, so I heard it was very good. But
yeah,
you speaking about it really makes me want to watch because I never saw back in 2016, 2014 when it came out.
yeah, and like he ends up getting like there's a point where he does meet another person, and it kind of gets to a point where like it gets really weird because like it gets to a point where like he starts visualizing the AI as a real person, and like it because it ends up being Scarlett Johansson and all that, and like he just starts like seeing her now, and it gets to a point like near the end, like it gets to a point where he realizes what he's been doing this whole time,
Mm.
and I'm just gonna say he's standing on top of a building, and there's another friend there with him, and the movie just kind of ends with them. No, I mean they don't do anything dark. I'm not
Okay,
alluding to that, but
about to
like
say like you left
it's
in the
really
climax.
no, it's really heartwarming how it ends. And it gets to a point too. Like there's a point in the movie where like he passes by Scarlett Johansson because it's like okay, this like because that's the thing. The voice of the AI is just a normal person. It's not some person just like stuck in your phone or stuck in an office or anything. It's just a voice, like it's just an AI, like it's nothing to really like drive home about, but like just the idea of because that's the crazy part is we're near something like this, like if we haven't gotten to that already with like AI basically helping us not be as lonely in our lives and all that. So like it's kind of scary to think about. Like there probably are people like this guy out there that just talk to Siri or Alexa or anything. And I'm looking at my devices, making sure that that person doesn't wake up or anything.
Exactly.
And like,
Like we have it like, hey Google,
yeah,
hey Siri, all these type of things,
man,
and hopefully they didn't activate me saying that. But hopefully, chat, if you're hearing us on loudspeaker, your device is most likely activated and everything. But you bring a good point. That's why I want to us have this conversation as a first
yeah,
conversation because how real is ChatGPT. You go on the timeline, anybody on fucking talking about this is what ChatGPT or AI spoke about the booking of WrestleMania 41. I'm like, how the fuck would they know? Like,
cool,
this is still not
yeah,
even being cooked. But stuff like that, like, they really are questioning or researching. We even have the news update of the iPhone 16 having AI interface helping you out or to read, write, or fix text. Like, it's helping out so much more in today's times that a concept of her was almost 10 years ago. 10 years later, we're having it almost right at the fingertips of ours. And that's the insane part.
yeah. So, and I mean, my little babbling about it didn't do it justice at all. Like it is a really good movie because it dives into that psyche of just being alone and like trying to find somebody that just understands, and that somebody ends up being an AI in your phone. And again, that's something that's not too crazy, not too far off to this point in time. So I mean, other than that, I mean, we have Edward Scissorhands on here, which that's also kind of a forbidden
Forbidden
love in
love.
a way, because like he can't touch her at all, he can't show her affection or anything, and so like that isolation, just being touch starved like that can really wear on somebody, even a creation like Edward Scissorhands, and I mean that kind of ends in tragedy as well. We have Titanic on here, which is also a forbidden love that's across
I've waited
So it's like
84
countries
years.
in that
84 years
in
for
that
this.
dude, man, that's a tearjerker. That's a fuck. He could have fit on. Okay, we're gonna start a debate. Could Rose have let him onto that door? Yes or no?
I have a
The door
different
could
debate. You
sink.
guys might not like me about
The
later, but
door
go.
the door could have sank. That's my honest like opinion that the door
Okay, the
could have sank.
door could have sank.
Like if he went on it, they both could have sunk. So like you either
Mm,
take the lose and have him pass to hold your door and be afloat, or try to hold both of your weight on it. But how much can the door hold? So like that's the big
mm,
if in that type of
Exactly.
scenario. Like it's hard to say like could he fit? Yes, but how long can the door hold in cold water of two people also shivering until help comes? That's the big question.
I had a different debate, and I don't think a lot of people are gonna like me for this because I'm the villain of the
yeah.
story. But why didn't Jack, after sleeping with this girl, just jump off the boat and dip? He could have been the straightest fuck boy. He could have won the poker game. He slept with the nice girl in the hot, steamy, car scene. He could have just taken one of the boats and just dipped. Hey, I got the money. I got the girl. That's it. Time to, rob the next thing. But no.
Like the episode we're talking about, it's the forbidden love. He wanted what he couldn't have. He wanted what he couldn't have. Exactly.
I'm just saying, if Jack was a fuckboy, all I'm saying was, it was forbidden. He could have just get that on to the next shorty.
I give props to anybody. Like, I forgot, there was this also I was searching this other movie that Blake Lively did. That I forgot what's the movie called, but Blake Lively, she did a movie where she plays the husband for Harrison Ford, but then she also becomes the boyfriend of his son of Harrison Ford. I forgot what was the name of the movie as well.
Oh, wasn't Steve Carell in that too? No, I'm thinking about
No.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Steve Carell. I'm thinking about Ryan Gosling, and I'm thinking about Emma Stone. You guys know what movie I'm talking about? That's not the movie though. You guys are referring to. You know what I mean though. You know what I mean though, right? It was like Robert. Yeah.
The movie so the movie with Harrison Ford and Blake Lively is called The Age of Adeline.
No, I don't know that.
So that's the one of Age of Adeline is with Blake Lively, Harrison Ford, is Mitchell Houston. This is also a forbidden love story, a movie I would give a shout out to because Blake Lively, I don't think she ages. It's like she I don't know the full concept because I haven't seen the movie since 2015, but this one is one I do shout out to because Harrison Ford dates the younger version of Blake Lively where he's young, but then Blake Lively, disappears, and then she dates Harrison Ford's son, and then when they meet, he's like, wow, you look exactly like my previous partner or like all these years ago. And then like she had a scar just like this one. I'm like, wait a minute, are you the same person? So it's a pretty interesting concept. Like, how do you date the same guy you're dating and his son now? So it's pretty interesting concept of the forbidden love. Titanic, I do agree with Watkins. Like, hey, you waiting somebody for 84 years and also still thinking about it after this, like that is insane. Like, I get her.
And she remarried.
And she remarried.
Well, not remarried. She married. She still married the dude. And to that day, to those 84 years, she still thought about Jack. Like, come on, man.
Like, that's
loyalty.
Beautiful.
We can't get women like that nowadays. No, let me stop. Okay, let me get in trouble with the missus tonight.
No. The other one I would give a shout out to, I haven't seen them, but I don't know, is Blade Runner 2049. I've been wanting to see it, haven't seen it. I know it has beautiful fucking cinematography. I've heard the best things. Ex Machina, I know about the AI robot, but haven't seen it sadly. The Iron Giant, like, hey man, bro, want to be Superman. He wants to live. That's all I would say for anybody who have not seen Iron Giant. You are living under a robot, under a robot. You're living under a rock. You're living under a robot. That was so on the nose. One other one is The Shape of Water. A romance between a woman and a non-human entity, which is obviously, a fish. For those that have not seen it, it's literally a fish guy. Crash. Any other movie you want to give before we transition to our TV, which was a short, and then our last one, the video games? Any other movies you want to give a quick highlight to before we move on?
The only other thing I'll say from this list that I have, again, shout out to the missus. She's always a great when it comes to movies. Subservience. I hope I said that right. It's a movie that came out this year with Megan Fox. Guy sleeps with a android because he's married and for whatever reason just wants to bone another girl. But the girl wants to continue on, but the guy's like, no, we can't do it as a one-time thing. Which leads to a certain amount of events that the AI now needs to protect this guy. She kind of becomes like yandere. I only saw bits and pieces of it. I didn't finish the rest of it, but long story short, it is forbidden love. Who wouldn't want to bone an android like Megan Fox? Definitely not me, because I've never seen the appeal for her personally. Not even with Transformers, but hey, to each their own, whatever. But hey, if you like stuff like that and you want to see, an AI like Megan Fox, which I would say at the very least, I don't think she's a class A actress, but she does at least a very good job of acting like a robot. I'll say that much. But if you want to see that, definitely check it out on Netflix.
Megan Fox has also she was April O'Neil in the TMNT. It was alright. Nothing too crazy to really sign off to.
Oh God, with Michael Bay, I forgot about. We'll talk about that.
Why would
Yeah.
you remind me of Michael Bay?
But you know what? I'm glad that we spoke about action because you know what? Let's transition to our TV shows. How do live action stories handle in the themes differently in a movie sense that is in a longer format as TV shows? Because TV shows we go from instead of a 2-hour format, we go into 8 episodes to up to. Remember back in the day when we used to have the 24 episodes a season, like the CW or like Smallville? Because one thing I will say, a Forbidden Love, it is Clark Kent, not Lois Lane, is Lana Lang. Lana Lang is one of the first forbidden love that he can never date because in some comic stores or in some of the TV shows, Smallville, she couldn't date Lana Lang because Lex Luthor was a jealous ass motherfucker that gave kryptonite to Lana Lang.
Huh.
Oh, it seems like
Neat.
we have some viewers that have forgotten about Smallville or maybe never watched Smallville. And I was like, what? Lana Lang had kryptonite, so that's why he couldn't date Clark Kent? Yes. That's one thing that Lana Lang, because you
I
gotta blame it to
got
Lex Luthor.
one.
You
I
gotta
don't
blame
have
Lex
it on this
Luthor.
list.
Oh.
The other one I'll mention is Westworld. For anybody I've not seen on HBO Max/Max on the streaming service, Westworld, go watch it. I'm not sure if they have any more seasons, but from what I know, it had like 3 seasons. It is imagine you're watching the show of Severance that's currently on Apple TV right now, currently airing season 2. It's similar concept. Imagine that you have people like the outer gods, and then you have AI people, robot, dealing with scenarios that could happen or not happen, and they're choosing their own day activities, and they are watching over you. That's what the world of Westworld is. Highly recommend to anybody to watch it. It's an interesting concept of how can you control your own world, but you're not even aware that you're in a world or people controlling you like they are your own gods. So highly recommend it to it. Blacklist, sorry, not Blacklist. I do recommend the show Blacklist. James Spader is fucking amazing. But Black Mirror, is a show that has episodic type of anthology type of episodes. A few of the episodes are with AI, robots, ideas, and how can you cope with them in today's time and technology. I don't want to spoil to anybody that have not seen those type of episodes, but I do recommend it because it makes you fucking think. There's some episodes that literally had me. There's one episode in one of the seasons that literally had me thinking for an hour. Like I was like, interesting. I literally sat down, paused the episode, like, huh, really now? Okay. Wait, huh? It just got me thinking about life so much. So those are the episodes I really highlight on my end. Crash, you said that you had one that was not on the list. Talk to us real quick.
I want to keep some for walk-ins. I just thought about it right now, and I think you guys will really agree with this. It's a forbidden love in a TV show. I didn't even think about it until right now. The first season of Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones and Luke Cage could never be, unfortunately. We've heard about it in the comics. If you guys have seen the first season, Jessica Jones first met Luke Cage, him during a nightcap.
They broke that wall. They broke that bed.
Bobby, you don't understand. She was looking for something to keep her up at night, and oh boy, did she find it. But lo and behold, this man was destined to be in her life in a bad way because, spoiler alert for those who may or may not have seen it, Jessica Jones killed the sister of Luke Cage by accident because of Killjoy's, mind control.
The Purple Man.
The Purple Man. Not to confuse the Purple Man, with Five Nights at Freddy's. That's a different Purple Man. But this leads to a certain amount of events where they had to fight each other. There was also more mind control between them, and it became a love could never be. The sex was fucking awesome for sure, but definitely a love could never be.
Okay, I like that. How about you, Watkins?
I'm looking at our list right now. I mean, some of these aren't live action, but I think we're gonna just roll with it. I'm gonna be the one to bring up Futurama. I want to be the one to bring up that because the stuff with Leela and Fry is so heartwarming. From God, where do I even start with some of that stuff? Because like there's moments where like Fry literally writes takes the stars in the sky and writes to Leela. There's Leela making stalactite stalagmite messages because Fry's stuck in like a time machine that only goes forward in time. There's even just the real series finale. I haven't really watched the 2 or 3 seasons that Hulu brought up after
Yeah, I
this
haven't.
ending.
Yeah, I haven't. The last time I saw was the actual ending season of where they was going through the
Mhm,
time loop, and then they went back in
mhm.
time. That's the last thing I remember.
Yeah, like where time is frozen, and then Professor Farnsworth just comes out. He's just like, we could go back, but we'll have to just do everything again. And literally, like old Fry and Leela are just they look at each other and just like, well, what do you say? You want to do it? What? Like, god damn, man, that
Yeah,
it's shit like that.
one
That's like
more time,
really gets
one
me.
more time.
you know like Futurama, even Zoidberg gets somebody in that show, because like Zoidberg, it's in like the final season, the actual final season. He finds this woman who can't smell, she can't smell anything, but then they end up doing this operation where she gains her smell back. And so she smells him, and he's all distraught because he's like, oh, well, you're going to smell me because I live in a dumpster, and you're going to hate me because of that because everybody hates me because of that. But she's like, no, I mean, for one, I never knew what garbage smelled like before today. So to me, you smell great. And like, again, it's just like something so simple, something so like
It's
heartwarming,
wholesome. It's
just
wholesome.
really
Yeah,
does. Yeah, it does so much to just kind of just let you know that love can be anywhere. Love, you can find love anywhere, even if it's in a dumpster and all that. um Another show I pointed out there, because like we were talking about fantasy stuff and all that, and like the first thing that came to my mind was a show called The Owl House, because there is some romance in that, some of it kind of forbidden, mainly because this is a Disney show, and we shouldn't have same-sex things and all that, good Disney, blah, 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 whatever bullcrap Disney Corporation wants to do. But like it's still really heartwarming, because like the whole overall message with the Owl House is like not only just like coming into yourself, like becoming yourself and all that, but like finding the people that are willing to accept you for you.
Hmm.
And that's shown in some of the romance and all this. Like, Luz meets up with now I'm blanking on names, son of a biznacho. She meets up with the girl that she ends up with and all that, and like their romance blossoms throughout the series and all that. And like even Ida, who's like the owl lady and all that, she has somebody too who goes by they them and all that. So it's like you have this kind of almost, when you like look into our own society and all that, you'd like, oh, like there are people out there, that are just like, oh, ew, get that away from me. So like in a way that's kind of forbidden as well, because it's like, oh well, why are you going with somebody like this? Why are you being around somebody like that? Like, why are you falling for somebody, And there's even a moment too where like Luce, when she finally gets home, there's like a montage of like all this stuff that's going on while they're in the real world, and she comes out to her mom as being bi. And I think it's really good representation in that aspect too, because it's like, okay, at least with some of the media I've exposed myself to, you don't get a lot of the bi representation in there. So it's just nice to see like something like that too, because like again, society, all that bullcrap, but like I at least wanted to point that out as well, just in this fantasy setting too, because like it is also something that really ties into the message of the show itself. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to highlight that part as well.
I would say the one thing that
Yeah.
reminds me of what you brought up about Our House, it reminds me a bit of the Cartoon Network show that's similar of the concept is Steven Universe. I know they have a lot of stories in
Hmm.
that realm of forbidden love, the growth of oneself. Not really AI. I'm not sure if they're dimensional creatures or humanoid
Yeah.
people in the aspect. So that was also a show that reminded me a bit of that, but I didn't bring it up because I haven't seen much or any of Steven Universe or Our House or these type of shows. So I get where you're coming from when it comes to story relation.
Yeah.
But
So
Crash,
yeah, those are the ones.
have any of those TV shows you want to highlight?
I mean, I'm going to bring it up just real quick. It is not a show I know here anybody's watched. It is a Spanish telenovela. I'll shout it out. Shout out to my my Spanish community that may know this show. It's a very old telenovela. It was on, I believe, either Univision or Telemundo. I don't remember. It's called Peligrosos Relaciones, translated into English, Dangerous Relationships. Long story short, is about this high schooler and teacher, very very hot, the both of them. They had a secret relationship, and one of the teachers was dating also the teacher at the same time too, but the main event was the student and this other person, and this took place in Mexico. Long story short, like, their relationship was starting to get found out, whatever. And then the cop was evolved to a Spanish hot cop. She also liked the student. I don't know. It got really weird. Then the teacher and the student, slept together, like, as it had sex, underage and everything, and they let it slide. And then the crazy thing too that I can remember on top of it was the cop actually had sex with the student too, but he was drunk, and I don't know why he was drunk. But all I remember, like, during that part was he kept saying the teacher's name while they were fucking. So the cop was distraught. Like, damn, I couldn't even get him to, like, think about me. I'm letting him bang me, knowing that he's still thinking about her while drunk. And at the very end, like, he's sleeping. He's like, oh, and she's there crying her ass off in the corner, like, fuck. I really want this, man, but I can't. That's how fucking dramatic Spanish novellas are. I highly recommend it. In the end, it was very dramatic. The ending, long story short, the teacher found out about the relationship. The guy, he tried killing the student with a crossbow. I don't know why. The teacher took the girl teacher, the girlfriend, whatever, took the shot for him. I don't know why. I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to spoil more of it. If you guys want to look into it, I'm pretty sure the DVD's out or something like that. If you want to watch it somewhere, maybe it's out there on the internet. But it was a very good telenovela for back in the day. Very, very, very spicy for sure. All in Spanish, no English translation. Take that as you will. Maybe there's English sub instead of Japanese. You would definitely watching an English sub now. But yeah, that was the most spiciest thing I saw when I was a young lad back in the day.
All right, as a good lad, like you said, back in the day, we're going to be back in the day in our old times or current times. I don't have much to say about this segment about the video games because I don't play as much as them that I could give in this conversation about love. The one thing I could say is one of them is how do interactive romance in game impact the player's emotions. The one thing I would say, voice acting really makes a big difference in the musical score and how you, the audience, could relate. One thing is that Halo. I will bring Halo to this because Morgana, the way she speaks to our Master Chief, the way she's not saying that they're in love to one another, but the way this motherfucker is flamboyant to one another, it reminds me of Toonami, our boy, what's his name? What's the guy from Toonami?
You got it. I believe in you.
You want to say it? If you don't know, I'll say it.
I don't know. It's in the tip of my tongue.
So,
no. Tron? I don't know. Tron?
Tom.
Ah,
Come
like,
on, my boy. Come on.
So my boy Tom with his AI robot as well. So it reminds me with the way of Halo, he does such a good theme and it's always consistent throughout the Halo games. I have not played them consistently, but I'm aware that he continues having that energy with them. And Morgana always tries to find Master Chief. Like, he is the one for anybody that knows the games and everything. I'm not going to go to a Halo rant because this is not the show for that. It's talking about the love and video games. But I'm going to pass it to our two gamers here. Watkins, I'm going to pass it to you first. And then we have Crash can help us end the show. So Watkins, what do you have for the love in video games?
Well, we already kind of hit on Persona 5, but I will say there is actually a secret third option that Crash didn't want to, I guess, mention to anybody. There's the harem route. Anyways,
oh, he's one of those. He wants the chocolate
Dude.
from Ryu, huh? Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Dude, as soon as I heard about the Valentine's Day massacre, that's all I'm gonna say. As soon as I heard about that, I'm just like, nah, I need to do the harem route. No, and you might hate me for bringing this one up because it's I'm bringing it up. Well, whatever. Doki Doki Literature Club. I
okay.
adore that game for many reasons. But I will say, Monica, there should have been a route for you. Just saying, there should have been 100%. I would have stayed in the game for you. Just saying, I would have. Other than that, yeah, I mean, a lot of games have like romance routes you can go to and do whatever with. So yeah, it depends on how you feel and all that. But Crash, I'll just move on to you with any other ones you want to point out.
I really personally want to talk about Detroit Become Human. Marcus. Connor.
Yes.
The other girl. Starts with A. I think Alma A. Those are so iconic characters. Played by very good actors and actresses. As much I want to dive in and talk about them a lot because that was a really iconic game. I gotta give it a Cyberpunk 2077 because despite the least amount of romance in the game, surprisingly, it was more. I was a sucker for Pan Am from the very beginning. I never liked Judy. She was. I'm glad
Judy.
I didn't go. Yeah, I'm sorry. I found out what happened with her. I'm just like, I'm so glad with Pan Am. Fuck Judy. Oh God. But anyways.
I will remember.
Joining her in the Albuquerques to help you out, to do the final mission and everything like that. And then from even before that, like building up a relationship with her because she never trusted you at first. Then she started to like, okay, I see what you're putting down. And then she started falling for your traps. And then you had a not one but two moments of very sexual intenseness in a tank and in your apartment. That's all I'm gonna say to that. It was very nice, very wholesome. You could be a dickhead and leave her in the dust and not tell her what's up, but she sticks her neck out for you and it's like, no, I'm not gonna let you die like that. Me and the crew are gonna protect you no matter what. Even though some of the crew unfortunately have to sacrifice themselves for you to better yourself is the best way to explain it without spoiling the game. Like Banham in that game is best girl for sure. She's definitely one of the characters you definitely want to like go for over and over again. And that booty at the very, very beginning when you first meet her when she's fixing her car, very iconic. Like Cyberpunk killed it for sure. Pan Am is OG.
There is a few games I have on my PlayStation, like Detroit Became Human. That's one game I do plan to play in the future. Persona 5, I need to get down my gritty and needy in that aspect. I know most of these games will also bring up again.
I got Persona 3. It's blurry, but come on, Persona 3.
I have it on my Xbox. I have it on my Xbox because of Game Pass. Those are games I need to play. Persona
Crash,
games,
who'd you choose?
I need to put effort.
For who?
For Persona 3, I assume
who'd you choose in Persona 3?
I've never played it.
Oh,
that's okay. That's why I have it. I know about some characters, but I don't know. Like I'm going in blind for the first time ever. So
good. All right, I'll leave it at that then.
Yeah. Doki Doki. We'll talk about that because.
Oh,
wait, what?
Oh no.
I'll let you know who I choose when I get to that point.
But like I said, chat, we heard about the video games, we heard about TV shows, we heard about the anime movies, and don't worry, this is not the first time we'll be talking about these type of categories. If we miss any, comment down below of where we miss any of these segments. If we forgot to bring any up, let us know down in the comment section. If not, we might bring them up again next week or in the next following weeks when it comes to the month of February for the love of theme. But let's get into our outro because I want to ask you guys is what was the one thing, if you had to choose one out of every of these lists, if you have to watch one or play one, which one would you do?
Out of all of them? Like,
yes.
Honestly? Jesus, you want to go first, Walkins? That's damn. Like, if you're putting me on the spot...
Yeah,
mean-
that's a big question
For me,
right there.
for me, my one play game I will do out of this list is Persona 5. That's one game I'll play because I know
For sure.
I,
For sure.
I will choose the harem route. Is what Walker's run up.
Good,
No.
good man. Good
And
man.
then
Do it.
and then when it comes to anime, I'll choose 86 because I haven't finished and I know how I will be getting a good experience out of it. That's my two. Right on top of my head.
You know what? All right, fine. But only because it's on my list, and I don't care what y'all say. We didn't even touch on it or mention it just because of the theme of tonight. Kaguya-sama will probably be one of my anime for love.
Oh, I can't wait to bring that next
Movies,
week.
I like
Yes.
that. I like that.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh yeah. Movies, I'm gonna stick with her. TV shows, give me that Futurama. That's just too good. And video games, yeah, give me my Persona 5 harem. Give me my Persona 5 harem. It's good. It's good.
So, Crash, you with the hard question I asked, which one do you have to choose? Is it Doki Doki Literature Club?
All right. If we're gonna do this, if I'm gonna choose anime, Domestic Girlfriend hands down is gonna be
God
my top
damn.
for sure. From movies, I'm gonna stick pretty much with what I said with Elemental. That actually hit close to home. I really can relate to that in a sense. TV shows, I'll stick with Jessica Jones. Like I said, I kind of put that on the spot. I didn't think about that, but I had a good memories watching that. And video games, I did say Cyberpunk, but you know what? Fuck it, I'm going back to Detroit Become Human because you know what? Connor is OG. Him and Hank are bros for life. I love that. I also love Marcus, him being a leader in that gun scene. Him leading the androids to the revolution. That I really
so good.
And him having the relationship with that other girl. I forgot her name too. You got to remember that too.
Yep.
I had to. Detroit Become Human just had I like that androids can have feelings, can be humans, and can coexist in the real world. I don't see why not. Don't take my jobs because they took our jobs, but you can chill with us. You can chill. You can do whatever. Just don't check our jobs.
And also, don't steal art.
Oh yeah, don't steal art. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, her. Yeah, Scarlett Johansson. Don't steal my art.
Don't steal the art. So, chat, you heard our favorites. You heard the ones that if you ask the panelists on top of the head, tell us as well your comments below or which one would you choose from the list in the Forbidden Love, the Science of Love. Which one would you do? And for next week's episode, quick reminder, it's our top 10 rom-com of all time. Or it would be something of a list debate in the anime media. So we give to something similar to the categories. And we'll be talking about the Super Bowl, about how Kendrick, Ain't Like Us, more about those things. So thanks to the audience for tuning in. Crash, have you any last words? I see.
I was gonna say there's a quick advice I can say before I go out. Be like Will Smith, guys. Slap that man who called your wife outside the street and tell her keep your wife's mouth out your beat man.
Zero miedo. Other than that, guys, thank you for joining us tonight on the. I'm gonna repeat that one more time. Thank you for joining us tonight and taking the time to listen in. The Anime Podcast is presented by AniMa W3 Studio. That stands for animation, manga. The 3 stands for wrestling, webtoons, and the Weebs are the people. We are representing the positive representation for Weebs or as well for entertainment. And our production team, myself, Watkins, Rome, Jokester, and a special thanks to our producers and also for Crash for always stepping in and being part of the show. Don't forget to follow us on social media of the brand and the team. All links are down below in the description. Lastly, share, like, and most importantly, give the feedback and let us know what you thought about this episode. You guys, yes, you is what makes this episode possible. And on behalf of everyone at AniMa W3 Studio and the Anime Podcast team, we thank you for joining us. The Anime Podcast will see you later. Take care. And this podcast was not recorded by a live studio audience. We'll see you on the next one. Go in Netflix and chill.
Domestic Girlfriend's top 10 rom-com all time. Go watch it.
I can't wait to shut down Run to Girlfriend next week.